all about living a minimalist, zero-waste lifestyle, as she has over 1 million followers all over the social media platforms. I'm gonna introduce you to this incredible superwoman, and I'm gonna be sharing with you 9 habits, and also giving you some tips on how to break those habits. Sorelle Amore is an amazing photographer who travels the world, capturing amazing videos in these crazy remote locations. She's a businesswoman from Australia who's all about achieving the highest levels of freedom in every aspect of life. She got her start on YouTube in 2016, showing people how to become digital nomads and live life on their own terms. Sorelle has been featured in all sorts of major media outlets, like Forbes, Business Insider, and Cosmo. She's traveled to more than 50 countries and now lives a nomadic lifestyle, with home bases in multiple countries. On top of all that, she's an investor in business, real estate, cryptocurrency, and art. Plus, she's a co-founder of a business called Abundantia, where she teaches other people about entrepreneurship, investing, and freedom. Oh, and did I mention that Sorelle is also a self-portrait artist? She's written a book called Take Your Selfie Seriously that's sold all over the world and has even been translated into different languages. And also she runs this thing called the Advanced Selfie University, where she's taught more than 6,000 people how to take impressive self-portraits. Sorelle was born in Australia on January 14, 1989 to a Polish parent and spent some time living in Poland. From a young age, she was exposed to different cultures and lifestyles, which probably contributed to her love of adventure. And get this, she had a passion for photography from a young age and was a super artistic kid who loved capturing memories. But even though she loved taking pics, she studied business and majored in marketing. She worked as a marketer and even started her own online fashion business and landed a job at a high-end photography agency. But none of it felt right. So when she was 27, she bought a one-way ticket to Europe and moved to Iceland to start a career on YouTube. Sorelle was both excited and scared when she moved to Iceland to pursue a career on YouTube. She had a tough time making ends meet in an expensive country, but her brother sent her an email about a contest called Best Job on the Planet by Third Home. To her surprise, she won the contest. She managed to beat out 17,000 other influencers in this competition, landing her a job traveling around the world for 3 months and creating videos and photographing luxury homes in 12 countries. She was paid $10,000 per month for the gig, which was a significant increase from her previous earnings. Anyways, she's traveling all around the place, from Fiji to Morocco to the Dominican Republic. It's a dream job, but it's also a ton of work. She's flying so much that she doesn't even have time to get jet lag. But at the end of her crazy journey, she realizes that she loves traveling, but she doesn't want her YouTube channel to be all about it. She's like, I don't want to be just like, oh look at this bakery, it's so cool. So she decides to focus on camera and photography tutorials instead, and builds a brand around her advanced selfie series. She's using her skills as a former photographer to give advice on stuff like how to dress for your body type on camera, or how to make your Instagram feed look more visually appealing. And people are loving it. She racks up 300,000 subscribers in just 3 months. Fast forward a few years later and she's got over 1 million followers on YouTube. And let me tell you, being an influencer and a digital nomad takes a lot of hard work and discipline. But she still loves it and is always pushing herself to do more. And she's encouraging others to try it out too. Nowadays, she's worth over $5 million and I have a feeling she's only at the beginning. I hope you're enjoying this video so far. Don't forget to show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to us. Alright, back to the main topic. Here are those 9 money habits that might be holding you back. Number 1. Getting comfortable with debt. It seems like these days, debt is just a normal part of life. People are using debt to buy all sorts of things, even small purchases like clothes and food. Personally, I don't think that's the right approach. If you can't afford something, you shouldn't buy it. I've always lived by this rule. Even when I was just starting out in my career, I never bought anything I can't afford, and I still use this principle today. Despite owning multiple businesses, I'm still debt-free. I do think there are a few exceptions to this rule, like emergency healthcare or education, but in general, I think it's important to pay off your debt as quickly as possible. Some people might enjoy the investment strategy of using debt, but it can be risky and complicated, so I prefer to avoid it. The second one, failing to prioritize paying yourself. It's a common mistake, but it's super crucial to remember and one of the most important. It's a concept from one of the best and exciting written finance books ever, The Richest Man in Babylon. So pay yourself first. Take at least 10% of your income and put it into your savings account as soon as you get paid. You might think, I can't afford to put 10% away each time I get paid. But by doing this, you're telling yourself and the universe that you deserve to save that money. And you'll be surprised how much easier it is to make your money last for the whole month when you pay yourself first. Most people spend their money on things they don't need before even thinking about saving for themselves. But that's the backwards mentality. Pay yourself first before anyone else and tell yourself and the universe that you deserve that cash. Just like when you're on a plane and they tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others, the same goes for your money. You gotta make sure to pay yourself first before you start spending all your dough on things that just make other people rich. Number 3 is a doozy. It's all about not having a backup fund. It goes hand in hand with the first point, saving money and cutting down on debt. The idea is to put away enough cash to have a safety net of about 3 to 6 months of expenses. Basically, you gotta save enough so that you can have a buffer behind you, like 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. This is important because your brain is constantly focused on worst case scenarios, like running out of cash in case of an emergency. But if you've got that buffer, you'll be stress free. You will have more time to think about education, furthering yourself, and all that good stuff. So how do you do this? By following the pay yourself first principle and putting away 10% of your income. Then you can start building up your investment accounts and looking into investing. Now, I ain't no financial expert, but I did learn something real important about emergency funds. A lot of people have one set aside just in case, but sometimes they'll dip into it. But for me, I made that money disappear from my brain, like I pretended it didn't even exist. That way, if something really serious happened, I knew I could use it. But other than that, it was just sitting there untouched, giving me peace of mind. So I built up a separate one just for emergencies. It's worked for me and maybe it'll work for you too. Number 4 is not having a clear understanding of how much money you're making and spending. It's like, when you make more money, you might just naturally start spending more, but that's a recipe for disaster. You gotta be in control of your finances, and that means making a budget sheet that shows all your incoming and outgoing cash flow. And the most important thing is to make sure you're putting some money away for yourself first, before you start paying bills and all that. And it can be fun too, like make it into a game to stick to your budget and then reward yourself with something cool when you do, like a pizza night with your friends or maybe a day off, just a small splurge. It's so rewarding when you stick to your budget, and it's so hard because there's all these marketing messages telling us to spend. But if you can stay true to your budget, give yourself a pat on the back, you're killing it, buddy. And coming in at number 5, it's paying too much tax. Now, we all know the saying that death and taxes are the two certain things in life, but that doesn't mean you gotta accept it without a fight. There are ways to legally decrease the amount of tax you gotta pay, and while it's a bit easier if you're a company owner, that doesn't mean the rest of us are out of luck. You can still save money on taxes if you talk to the right accountant. And I'm not talking about those big mainstream tax accounting companies, because they're concerned with getting as many tax returns as possible, not saving you money. Sometimes it's worth spending a little bit extra for an accountant that can save you more money in the long run. And don't forget, saving all your receipts for expenses that are related to work, like uniforms, clothing, hair and makeup, can also be tax deductible. Travel, stationery, and food you eat during work hours can also be tax deductible. So it's worth chatting with your accountant about that if you're an entrepreneur. So be wise, save money on your taxes, and keep more cash in your pocket. I'm gonna drop some serious knowledge on you. I'm telling you, setting up your own company is the way to go. The tax savings are out of this world, especially if you're in a place like Australia. For individuals, the tax rate is a whopping 50%, but for companies, it's maxed out at 30%. Plus, there's all kinds of deductions you can legally take advantage of. It might take a bit of paperwork and some upfront costs, but it's worth it, trust me. Set up your own company, keep most of the money in there, and then pay yourself as an employee. There's all kinds of little tricks you can legally use to reduce your taxes. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but isn't that unethical or something? But let me tell you, it's completely legal and you should absolutely take advantage of it. It's not like the government is saying you can't. They're just offering you ways to save more money and put more towards paying off debt or savings and investing in strategies to increase your wealth. Number 6, having hobbies that cost a lot of dough, like shopping. Now I get it. We all need to break up the monotony of life every now and then, and those advertisers know how to make us feel like we need to drop some cash. But my advice to you is to resist those temptations and try to window shop instead. Because let's be real, you're just one person going against billion-dollar companies that want you to spend your hard-earned money. So instead of going for the expensive hobbies, try finding alternatives that are either free or don't cost much, like having a picnic with friends or a movie night at home. And don't forget, developing yourself through hobbies like drawing or playing music is a great way to develop a wealth mindset. The more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become, and the more you'll be able to sell your skills at a higher price. So don't splurge on shopping, invest in yourself and study up. Habit number 7, and this one's a biggie, not investing when you should. Now, once you've got a decent amount saved up in your emergency fund, you gotta start thinking about ways to make that cash work for you. Diversifying your investments is key. Don't just throw all your money into one basket, because sometimes things don't go as planned. And let me tell you, keeping your money sitting in one bank account is a no-no, because inflation is a real thing and it means your cash is losing value over time. You gotta make that dough work for you ASAP. When it comes to investing strategies, it's all about finding what works for you. Some people like the safety of property investments, but others like to take risks with stocks. And let's be real, investing always comes with some degree of risk. It's a gamble. Take Bitcoin for example. It might have been a good idea to invest in it 5 years ago, but who knows now? Diversify your investments, mix in some safer options with the riskier ones. And you might be surprised to know that you don't need as much money as you think to get into property investing. There's a lot of affordable properties out there, and all you need is a small down payment to get started. And hey, if you're still paying off your debts, don't let that stop you from investing. Start putting aside some money for your investments while you pay off your debt. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and it gives you a sense of hope and a glimpse of the future, instead of just focusing on debts all the time. Number 8 is letting that dripping tap run. It might seem insignificant at first, but over time it adds up and wastes a lot of water and money. The same goes for your finances. You might have little expenses that are slowly draining your cash, like tiny leaks. You want to plug those leaks, you know what I mean? For instance, subscriptions. You might have a lot of them that you don't use or don't get much value from. It's worth taking a look at your bank statements and see where your money is going. It's all about budgeting and being in control of your cash. You don't want to waste it on things that don't matter. Why pay for 10 different streaming services when you only use one or none, right? I don't even watch TV, I just have Spotify because I like listening to music and podcasts. Another thing is trying to reduce any fees you might be paying, like bank fees. It's crazy that they think they can charge us for keeping our own cash. So find a bank that doesn't charge as many fees or respects you more. It might be a bit of a hustle, but in the long run, it's worth it. Habit number 9 is not giving a damn about finances. If you don't care about something, you're not going to put in the effort, and a lot of people just don't give a damn about their finances. And the worst part, most people think that finances are evil or not important. Like, I can't believe you're making a finance channel. There are way more important things to do in life. And yeah, there are more important things, but finances play a big role in life. You gotta learn and master it so you're in control and you can enjoy life more. But I ain't gonna force you if you ain't interested. It's all about diving into this world, finding people who talk about it in a way that speaks to you, whether it's from an employee perspective, stocks, or property like Sorelle. You gotta keep learning, put time aside for it. And another thing to keep in mind, having a negative attitude towards people who have finances is a bad habit too. You might have heard the eat the rich or something like that, but that's crazy. If you put out a message that you don't want money or that money is evil, the universe ain't gonna give you more of it. It's like a relationship. You gotta treat it with respect and love and it will give you more. Don't be jealous or angry at others who have more finances. See it as motivation. If they did it, it means you can do it too. So if you want to avoid this bad habit, you gotta start caring about your finances. Get invested in it, take control, and start learning and mastering it so you can enjoy your life more. Take a look at where your money is going. Figure out where you can cut back or invest more wisely. And remember, having a negative attitude towards money or people who have more of it is only gonna hold you back. So shift your perspective and start treating your finances with respect and care. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe and comment. Engage with the video because it is very helpful for us getting out the message about finance and freedom. Hold on to your seats because in the next video, we're gonna go on a journey to find out if Baeza is really a scammer. Catch you in the next one.